Find out.
Can you hear me?
Y'all.
All right, count us in.
3, 2, 1, go!
Greeting, motherfuckers. Welcome to another episode of Necro Electric. I'm your host, Sean D. Skellington. This is my beautiful wife, Kylie, and the sorceress of the soundboard, Jordan Fernandez.
Hello.
Today we have a very special guest, Hellen motherfucking Fury.
It's a misnomer, though, because she's so nice.
I know.
She's so nice.
Or am I?
Before we get into it, you know the drill. Hit the subscribe button
Do it.
so we can get like at least 4 followers going.
Yeah, please.
4.
Come on. We've been at this over a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Hellen, this is your first time on the show, so you got to go through who the hell are you? We're going to guess a couple, and then you can go off
that's right,
on the
I don't
rest.
Oh, yeah.
It's like being in school.
You don't have a writing utensil. That's
you
okay.
Still don't have a pen?
That's okay. I'll imagine it. I'll.
We'll try again. All right. Vampire, witch,
Werewolf. Troll.
Monster hunter. Which would you be? Don't tell us yet, though.
Okay.
All right.
I win.
What? Oh. Yeah. Okay. All right.
What's your answer?
I want to be a witchy monster hunter.
Damn it. I just
Chicks are always combining.
If you had said which,
You didn't say there was rules that I couldn't
there's no
combine.
rules.
see,
But I've noticed that chicks always combine.
Yeah.
if you had said, I thought you were going to say which werewolf, and I was like, oh my god, we're on the same wavelength.
That would be
But-
dope. I love werewolves. I really do.
Yeah,
But I was like, monster hunter.
but also witch. Like, that's pretty badass.
Yeah.
That's pretty badass.
I said vampire for some reason.
And I
That
said
works
witch.
too. Yeah. Because that's everyday me. Just-
All right. Question 2. What kind of porn do you like?
Ooh. I don't even know what you would call. Okay.
You don't know what it's called?
I had to think of the right word, Sean.
Uh,
No. Wait. Okay.
all right. What's your answer?
For fun, I'm going to say clown porn.
Clown porn.
Yeah.
Nice.
I have a lot of clown friends and I love them. Some of them actually are in more of the sex work side of it too. So I think it's funny and I think they would enjoy
Wait,
having support.
a
Like,
sexy,
and
like a clown escort? Like somebody who dresses up as a clown to go with their clients?
it could be a clown skort.
Can you imagine being the next door neighbor? You just hear.
Maybe
I said bondage porn, but I usually I come up with something way out, and I was like, I don't know, maybe it's just I was trying to think of like, you know, when they like pick people up by their skin.
Suspension.
Yeah, that's what
yeah.
I was thinking of, but I was like, no, I can't think of what it's called. So bondage porn. Is
I've
what came
done
up.
suspension. in the
Suspension
past.
porn?
You have
Not porn. Well,
Google it.
Wait, I want to hear about this.
What?
I've always been so interested in body suspending, and I wanted to do it so bad and never got the opportunity. Where did you suspend?
we should make
Tell
it
me the
happen in
story.
Waco. I should get some of my pals and we should
That
make
would
it
be
happen
awesome.
when things are a little bit
Yeah,
better.
definitely.
Hang it at
but
the
tell
market.
me your story. Where'd you do
Oh
it?
yeah. So I've done it several times. I think the first time I did it with my show, the Pickle Punk Sideshow. We had
Shout out.
a couple of shows, and one of them was pretty gnarly. The suspension, it was pretty awesome. I did a 4-point suicide, so that's 4 hooks in the back, and myself and another female, her name is Lady Gwendolyn,
Shout out.
were hanging from a seesawing rebar that would spin, so we could seesaw and spin at the same time as we were
Oh my
suspending.
god.
Pretty fucking rad.
So we did that for a show. It's giving me chills just remembering doing that. Like that was one of the most fun suspensions I've ever
So
done.
wait, was it like the hooks in the skin, or was
Yeah.
it? Oh my god!
See the shark poster behind you. You know, it's like they are literally shark hooks usually,
Yeah.
or deep sea fishing hooks.
Oh my god.
Or sometimes there's actual specialized hooks. They're called Gilsons. A lot of suspension people
Yeah.
love to work with the Gilsons.
Basically, any hook that prevents you from sliding out.
Yeah, so
Right.
you got these hooks.
Yeah.
And, then another one that I did looks pretty gnarly, and I still have scars from it, but I love those scars so much. I did a Lazarus, so it's like you're suspended by your stomach.
Oh.
And you're hanging backwards, so it looks like you're rising from
Yeah.
your grave.
Oh my
It's pretty
God.
gnarly.
Stigmata style.
Yeah, so
Oh.
that was really fun. I enjoyed that one.
I hear it's kind of like an outer body experience when you like finally, like it hurts at first and then it just all goes away.
Yeah, I mean I don't know, for me, I guess it's different, but for me, I guess the pain isn't really so much of my focus, and the pain is minimum, if that makes sense, at least to me. And then you get up there and you're flying, and you're just, for me, the first time I did it, I felt like it was a lesson in mind over matter and what your body can truly do. And so you're like, whoa, my skin just supported my entire weight, just my skin by these gnarly hooks. Like, wow, you know. And a couple of the suspensions, I feel like afterwards kind of brought up some interesting emotions afterwards, which were really cool. But mostly happy, you know.
That is
like
really
PTSD.
no.
No.
After
Just said happy.
after the Lazarus, I was just like, I want to snuggle with someone the next day. You know, so it's like feeling all snuggly and sweet. And I'm like, what the hell is my problem? But
I answered
That's so
priest
cool.
nun porn, by the way.
that's a good one too.
All right.
I
Third
should have made
question.
something up better.
You're on your deathbed, looking back in your life so far. What's your biggest regret? Yeah,
Oh, y'all aren't gonna.
Oh no,
Oh,
no.
no.
I was like,
We only
We're
guess
not.
the
Are
first
you
two.
guessing
We're
more?
gonna guess. Her biggest
your biggest
regret is that
Guess it.
she did not learn how to hang by her ears. So, biggest life regret.
I don't know if I have one yet, honestly. Like,
That's
I've got
pretty
some
good.
more
I
living
like
to
it.
do.
Said not yet.
Yeah. I mean,
And then it's 2021, so we're adding a bonus question
Oh, we are?
that Jordan will randomly select.
Oh, damn. Okay. Okay, so this kind of relates to what we were talking about earlier. What is your best scar story? Did you just tell us?
that's a good one. I've got a really cool one on the bottom of my foot from Sideshow.
Glass
So-
stomping.
Yes, glass stomping, 100%.
yeah.
So Drew Blood and I from the Pickle Punk Sideshow were doing a awesome birthday party show in I think it was a venue's backyard. They had a really sweet backyard, lovely private party for a bunch of tattoo tours, I think. And I did glass, and I got a little overzealous with the jumping part. And needless to say, I cut the bottom of my foot, and it was right underneath the ball of my foot. And I cut it really deep, like a perfect, like moon shape almost,
Yeah.
like right underneath that ball. And it actually cut into the fatty tissue. So fatty tissue was hanging out of my foot. And I remember, like, when I looked at it, I was like, oh, a flap on the bottom of my foot. And I just remember taking a breath and thinking to myself in my head, okay, you can either A, freak the fuck out, or you can B, take a deep breath and continue on. So I chose B. I just was like, okay.
I've had that conversation.
And
myself
I think
a few
we had
times.
one more act to go, and we finished the show.
Oh, you finished. Nice.
And instead of going to the ER like I should have, I was like, ooh, it'll be fine. Fuck this. I went home, elevated it, iced it for way past an hour, still seeping blood. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, God. So my sister, who was going to nursing school, was like, bitch, you're going to go to the ER.
Yeah.
So she made me go, got like 12 stitches on the bottom of my foot.
Oh my god.
They wanted me to use crutches for a while because they didn't want me to be on my foot.
Right.
I couldn't stand crutches because they made me too slow. So I just hopped around for 2 weeks because it was faster to hop.
You had a really strong leg.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's why like one calf's more built
Yeah.
from all those hopping days. But
That's how I felt when I stopped using my boot because I sprained my ankle. I found out it wasn't an actual fracture; it was just a sprain. But like after I took the boot off, like I felt like this leg was like more like stronger. I was just like, ugh, like I'm just stomping around because I'm so used to only walking like really on one foot. So I was like, yeah, this leg could kick your ass, but only this leg.
that's your ass kicking leg.
Yeah.
Better damn watch out.
You guys haven't put it together yet. Helen is a sideshow performer. Sideshow. She's one of our main performers at Skellington Market.
Yeah. She's
And
amazing.
she does all kinds of crazy stuff from fire juggling to sword swallowing, which is your main attraction, which you are, I think, technically the only woman sword swallower in Central Texas.
I think so. Honestly, active for sure.
Nice.
Yeah, so there's not very many females out here in this part of Texas,
Really not
or
that
many
the
parts of
blade.
Texas at all. I think I'm honestly about the only one, to my
Yeah.
knowledge. I ask around on Sideshow Spectrum, which is a group on Facebook where a bunch of sideshow people talk shop, or you can ask questions, post oddities.
That's cool.
And I think I got maybe one name, and I'm not sure anyone else is active right now. So
Well, we've
That's
seen
very
it
cool.
a few times. It's badass.
Yeah.
So
you were
we're-
on the news too.
oh yeah,
Rocking
yeah,
it.
that was so
awesome.
fun.
Yeah.
That was so fun. I totally freaked out the host.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She kind of like pulled that shit quick too.
Yeah.
Oh, well, she wasn't as freaked out as I forgot the blonde woman's name.
Lindsay,
Lindsay?
I think it's Lindsay,
Was that
right?
Lindsay?
Was that Lindsay?
I don't think it's
That's
Lindsay. I don't think
Lindsay.
Lindsay
Oh.
does that show.
No.
I should have looked up her name, but the blonde lady that's the morning show host, she was more freaked out. Like she
Yeah.
was gagging. She was like,
Yeah.
I can't handle this. This is too disgusting. And I was like, I am so inviting you to my show. You're getting in free, like comp tickets. You're going to sit up front.
Yeah.
And you
Totally.
are my volunteer.
Yes.
I love you. Please come to more shows.
That's awesome.
All the shows.
So where are you from?
I am originally from outside of Amarillo, Texas. That's kind of the area I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've traveled a lot and lived in a bunch of places. I'm just a roaming type of person.
Okay. So you don't have anywhere that's just like home.
Home.
Yeah.
Road. The road, baby.
The open
Okay.
road.
What got you into sideshow performing?
Oh, man. That's a good question. What did? Well, I'd say my gateway drug was like fire performing. So I moved back to Amarillo from Austin, and I was so bored. And one of my friends was like, "You should take up fire dancing." And I was like, you know what? I think I will. So I taught myself how to fire dance.
Shout out to that friend.
So this is like
Nice.
months of practicing and working on all the skills I needed to do.
Burning yourself.
Yeah. So I didn't start out with fire, you know, you
Yeah.
just start out dry for a long time until you master the moves, and then you learn about fire safety and all that, and then you're confident and you get your friends and a fire safety lined up and some fire extinguishers and a fire blanket
Douse
and
her
all
ass.
that.
Have you ever
You
had
know.
to be extinguished?
No, I have not.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, good. Good.
I have a good track record for that.
That's good.
So I'm pretty confident. So,
Besides your foot, have you had any other like scary situations with the swords or?
not yet.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been working on one of my. It's not a new sword per se, but I've never done a show with it.
Mm-hmm.
And its name is Cal because it's a Civil War cavalry reproduction sword, and so it tapers wider as it goes
Yeah.
Oh.
deeper, and it's like longer. So it's about, I measured it the other day, I think it's about 26 inches long, something like that.
Ooh.
Shit.
And it just gets wider, and so that's like more challenging because like all my swords are the same width.
Yeah.
So that
And
one
don't
just
they already kind of graze your heart? As
yeah, so
the
it
ones you got
pushes
now?
your heart like a quarter of an inch away from its natural resting place
Yeah.
when you're down the hatch, so to
Yeah.
speak. You know. You're just-
Golly.
You don't want to try it?
No. I have a pretty high pain tolerance. Like I can take a lot of things, but if like I try to actively avoid hurting myself. All the things that happen to me are just by pure accident and stupidity. But so I just trying to intentionally do things that might hurt me. I'm like, no, I'm gonna stay away from that.
You're good.
unless it's a tattoo or a piercing, and then that's just my own fault. So.
So
you've traveled on the sideshow, like on a tour, like doing conventions?
Lots of tours. So trying to think of all these good tours. One of my tours that I went on was actually with another performer that comes to Skellington Market a lot. Her name is Eve Calientina.
Shout out.
Yeah.
She's freaking amazing. She's one of my fire
eater
buddies, performers. I love her fire eating. It's amazing, top notch. And she's a top notch person. I love performing with that girl. And she and I have been on tour, and that was really fun. The van broke down that we were in.
as they always do.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So it's like we're in this van and it broke down and we're stuck in the middle of nowhere, Indiana. Like I'm talking bumfuck nowhere. You can hear the banjo music probably. And you're like, well, we better get out here before sundown.
Yeah.
Yeah. So somehow we found a rental car, and I was the only person that had the foresight to bring a credit card on that tour, because I usually do, just in case really bad fucked up shit happens.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have a credit card. I mean, what's gonna happen? Gotta use it, right?
Yeah, I can relate with like music, but we never had a plan B though. It was always go until it breaks down and then figure it out when it happens.
Yeah.
But I mean, traveling, you had to have some stories.
Yeah, lots of fun stories.
'Cause, I mean, for us, like I remember like going to like even some of the like southern states, like back in the day, you'd go into like some diners or you go into like a Walmart. Like you think about like the Walmarts where you live now and then like back home, like nobody cares, but you go in there and like if you have any kind of an alternative look, you'll stop them. People will stop.
You can like literally hear the record scratch, especially at some of the diners, and people are like
Yeah.
Yeah.
crossing themselves or just like muttering under their breath, like.
But you guys went from like convention to convention.
Yeah, so I've been at Whorehound before. I've done a lot of horror conventions. That was a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Just anything I can get into, I'll go there and I'll do my thing.
Yeah.
Because of the news gig, actually going back to being on the news in Waco, I was in the green room waiting for my turn to go on, because they call in a lot of people and they film the segments for the week, I suppose is how it works.
Yeah.
And so there were other people waiting for their segment. And I noticed a gentleman in a really fancy jacquard jacket. And I was like, well, look at you, Mr. Fancy Man. What are you going to do? He's like, well, I'm going to sing. And I was like, cool, what you singing? He's like, oh, soul. I was like, oh, like Motown? He was like, more like soul. So, like praise, soul. And I was like, okay, I got you. That's cool, man. And after I was done with my segment, I guess there's a monitor, and he saw what I did. And he's like, hey, here's my card. I want you to like come and do something for us. And I was like, okay, what are you into, man? Like, like what's going on? What are you into? Should I be worried? Should I stab you now and get it over with and just, or whatever? But turns out this man is a reverend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, you want me to come to a
Like
church and do sideshow? He's like, yeah. I was like,
What?
I was like,
The Church of Badass.
yeah. So I was like, let's talk more about this, okay? Because I mean, I don't have to cuss, and
Yeah.
I can tone it down a little bit,
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty
Adaptable.
adaptable. Yeah, good word.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay. So I talked to him later on the phone, and he's like, yeah, please come. So I guess on Saturdays, their church was doing more of, it wasn't really as churchy. It felt like a club. So they had like a worship hall
It's like a
area,
shady church.
like where you go eat in
Yeah.
the church, just not the synagogue
It's like a
itself,
fellowship
but
hall.
fellowship
Yeah.
hall. And
Churchgoer.
yeah, and this was like, it was more arranged like a nightclub sort of, and they had even lights.
Nightclub?
Kind of, yeah.
Sure, this was a church.
It was. It totally was. Here in Waco, nonetheless.
It's
So
Waco.
I was a little scared.
I need to go to this.
Reverend Slickback.
Yeah. But it turned out to be really fun, and I scared a lot of people.
What kind of acts did you do for them?
So I decided to do, I brought my mouse traps.
Yeah.
And I put my hand in that and my tongue in the mousetrap. And I brought my stainless steel animal leg trap.
Yeah.
What's
That
the age
hunters use.
demographic?
Oh, so I think the youngest person I saw, maybe they were in their 20s, like a couple.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then everyone else seemed about maybe their 60s and 50s
Oh,
and
wow.
40s.
Yeah.
So kind of that age group.
Yeah.
So
It
you were probably
seemed-
shocking some people.
Yeah, they'd never seen Sideshow before, I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
Maybe one or two, but the Reverend's mother was there. And they would
snap.
take turns, so people would sing. It was almost like karaoke in a way.
Uh-huh.
And not all the songs were worship songs. Like a lot of people just got up there and sang soul. Like one group of people did a Marvin Gaye, "What's Going On?" And I was like, and it was, yeah.
Let's get it on.
Not that song. They're doing, "What's Going On?" Yeah, so-
Even still, that's great.
He was
was-
doing right round and stuff.
I don't know. I was like, y'all glad I can't sing because I might sing something bad.
That's awesome.
It sounds like a cool church.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was fun. So it was more like just kind of chill and them just singing and, like I said, some worship songs,
Yeah.
but
What
mainly
did you
singing
wear?
soul.
Because typically you guys wear like
Like
skimpy
carnival
stuff, right?
kind.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we try to, dress to draw a little attention for sure.
Yeah.
And then being Skellingtons, it
Did you do
gives.
the whip in the parking lot of the church?
I did not. Next time, he's probably going to hear this podcast and be like, "No, girl,
Dude, we gotta have him on this podcast.
I know.
I have his number, man."
Do you?
Talk to me about your church.
I do.
we gotta hear about
Pastor
this church.
Royce,
Fun.
man.
Pastor Voice?
Royce.
Oh, Royce.
Yeah.
Like Rolls Royce.
I'm gonna
Yes,
find
like
you, Royce.
Rolls.
Interesting. Okay. Okay.
But yeah, his mom got up there and sang. And a couple days after I did the show for them, he called me on speakerphone with his mom. And his mom was like, "I loved your show. Like, I totally got what you were talking about," because I also did an act called Mental Floss, and that's basically where I sniff something up my nose,
Oh yeah.
make it come out of my mouth.
Was it a
So
condom
you're like
this time?
literally. I didn't do the condom. I love to do that one. Though.
I mean, if they're listening to Marvin
That's-
Gaye,
if they would have done
Yeah.
that song, I would have immediately jumped up on stage and bust the condom out. It's kind of mandatory, isn't
She
it?
does
Yes.
private parties. For
If you
anyone.
play Get Down, Make Love music, you're going to see a condom come out, but it might not be for the reasons you want it to be.
yeah, no.
That's all I'm gonna say about that.
We got time for an ad real quick?
Yes. This episode is brought to you by Skellington Curiosities. Skellington Curiosities is the only curiosities and oddity shop in Waco, Texas, full of clothing, lingerie, accessories, oddities, and everyday curiosities. A spooky vibe 365. Visit us online at skellingtoncuriosities.com.
Boom.
I try to do that all in one breath and it doesn't work.
faster.
You gotta get your auctioneer tactics going. Bit of vibe.
Oh, so
I just want the hat. That's all. I just want to wear the hat.
Is there a special hat for an auctioneer?
Yeah, they always wear like the big like cowboy hat, like the 10-gallon hats. Like I've never seen an auctioneer that wasn't wearing a hat of some, like a big hat of some kind.
Apparently, you
Yeah.
never watched Storage Wars.
Yeah.
Oh no, I haven't. I haven't. Sorry.
I love
Yeah.
that show.
You watch such trash TV.
I mean, like really, like nonsense. You learn nothing.
We'll watch alien shows. Like it's not even like there's no scientific
Aliens.
theory to it. It's just
Uh-huh.
like
It's literally like conspiracy
it
alien
would
shows.
be like there's a billion planets out there. They're like
This is
hypothetically, we think there could be one that has like flying bat dogs, and then like we'll watch an episode about how the flying bat dog has to live in fucking battle spiders in the sky.
How they eat.
Hey, when I had cable, I used to watch that with what's his face, Zach Baggins, the ghost hunter dude.
Zach Baggins.
That's his name. He's like, they always go into people's houses and they like look for demons and ghosts and stuff. Like that's trash TV too, but it's so entertaining to watch them like scare the shit out of themselves, to be like, oh, what was that?
I haven't seen a good one though. Like every time you show me like one of them, it's always like they'll be like in the hallway. They're like, hello. They're like, hello. Did you hear that? And they're like fucking Blair Witch camera to like whoever's at the controller. Rewind it to 2:55, and then it's like.
Or like just a little blob.
There was some static on the playback.
Yeah.
There was a ghost.
Like, you see the dust?
The orb? Do you see the light orb?
That's the
You guys are upsetting the spirits in the room, okay?
Oh, we have real shit here. If anybody ever wants to come film
I
here,
can feel them getting angry. I'm not even kidding.
We on one of our episodes, I kept it. This door was open and our workshop door was open, right?
Yeah.
In the video, you see me come out. There's nobody else in this fucking place.
Yeah.
I walk in here. I shut that door. We hear shit, right?
Uh-huh.
But none of us are acknowledging it. We're just kind of like trying to play it off. And then when I open the door to end the episode, the fucking light's off and the door is shut.
Nope. No.
So,
Who is it?
Well, the Ouija board is destroyed.
Has a fucking bite out of it. Randomly.
Yeah, on the E. So it's somebody with the E name.
And there's like no paper from it here anywhere.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And that thing fits perfectly over it.
It is very strange.
I wonder who it is.
High strangeness.
I mean, we do have a human skull, and
It's not her.
we have a lot of haunted
Her
shit.
name is Esther.
Yeah.
Oh, it could be her.
And it's over the E.
Shit.
Esther was a mental patient from 1885, and then we have her dissected skull here.
Nice.
So
Maybe that's who's here.
maybe.
Who wants to try and find out?
Me? I'll do it. I'm feeling brave. I'm feeling brave.
All right.
So what was the jump from you doing the fire dancing to I want to swallow swords? Like what was the jump that you made there?
Oh yeah, so I was doing fire dancing and I was getting a lot of gigs booked, and I got a really sweet gig booked in Laredo, Texas, and they wanted like 3 hours, and I was like,
Wow.
that's gonna be boring AF. Like you
Yeah.
don't want me to dancing with fire for 3 hours. Like that's gonna be boring, guys. And they're like, well, what else can you do? And I was like, well, just wait and see.
Did you ever do the grinder thing?
Yeah. So I do the angle grinder thing as well.
What
I
is that thing?
don't do
You ever
it.
seen that like at metal shows? Sometimes they'll have like
You
a
have
plate
like
on
a
their stomach
you
and
have
they'll
like a plate.
grind
I
it.
actually have a pair of metal underwear,
Oh.
and I get my angle grinder and grind on my metal underwear. And sometimes you get a metal bra if you want to,
Yeah.
or like a metal stomach plate. Yeah, some like a metal corset maybe.
That's awesome.
Go to town. So I was doing a lot of the grinder girl earlier on, and then as my skills progressed, I guess I can still do it. I just don't do it very often anymore. I was like, why don't I do that very much? I don't know, but it'll make an appearance again, I'm sure.
Yeah, because I'd
Did
love
you
to
have
see
to
that.
like apprentice with the sword swallowing?
So that's a long-standing tradition that you do have a mentor since it's so incredibly dangerous. And
Don't try this at home.
yeah. So let's rewind a little bit. So I did the fire dancing, doing good. Got a 3-hour gig in Laredo, and I was like, shit, it's gonna be boring. So at the time, Drew Blood and I were together, and we decided to form Pickle Punk Sideshow, and we learned how to do some sideshow acts. So we actually brought our sideshow. That was our debut. Was in Laredo, Texas.
Nice.
Wow.
And it was a cool club because you could cross one half of the club and you'd be like in Mexico, and then the other part you'd be like in America.
Nice.
So it was like it was pretty awesome. It was fun. So then we just started doing more and more stuff and more gigs, and just kept at it. And finally, I'd been wanting to go out with a fair because in the world of sideshow, the history of it is they used to travel with circuses and carnivals. And to this very day, you can find a few. Now, if they're going to make it after this, who knows? But
fucking 2020.
there's definitely 2 well-known sideshows that are still traveling to this very day with carnivals. One is World of Wonders, also known as WOW, and that was owned by a gentleman named Ward Hall, who has since passed on. So his partner Chris Kreis had it, and then a man named Tommy runs that one. So you actually go in a tent and you see people swallowing swords, and they have an electric chair. You see a girl turn into a spider. So there's illusions, there's real acts like you see us do at Skellington's Fire Eaters and so on. So that's kind of a hearkening back to the old days of sideshow. People learn acts, or there's people that might be differently abled, and that gave them a source of income because they would learn skills, or they would just show their everyday normal skills because at the time people could not fathom how do you get by in this world with no arms? There's a lot of interesting disabled performers at that time, and much respect. It's just amazing kind of community to be a
Still
part
to
of.
this day. We got
Still to this day.
John comes.
Yeah. John's an amazing performer too. And he's got a lot of good advice.
Awesome.
But I guess so. Yeah, I found a show. I was asking around, and I was like, "Hey, I want to go out with the carnival. So, is there a show I can get on?" So I just sent out a bunch of emails to some of the people that were doing shows at the time, and got on with a show called International Palace of Illusions.
Ooh.
I know, and it was based out of Canton, Ohio, and a man named Tim Dermer owned that place. And I think he'd been doing sideshow since the 70s.
Wow. Okay.
And he was a magician primarily, and still is a magician, or was. He, like I said, he's passed on, but he was still heavily into magic. So I worked for a magician, and he had all kinds of talented people gone out with him on the road before. And one of his people that was a sword swallower was Angelo. And I talked to Angelo on the phone, and Angelo was a character because he only spoke about himself in the third person, and he spoke really gruff.
I love it.
And so that's my impression of Angelo. He'd be, well, Angelo's just going to go down there and do that.
Sounds like Little Nicky.
Yeah, he did. It was like Little Nicky of Sideshow, except a little more fabulous.
Yeah.
Little Nicky with a little fab to
That's
him.
awesome.
I'd say Angelo.
That's great.
And he'd bring out his trailer, and he'd cook, and he'd be like, "What's for dinner tonight, Angelo?" Tater tot surprise. I don't know if I want to know what that is. Yeah, I don't know what to know. But Angelo wasn't there when I went out. Unfortunately, he had to retire due to health issues. So it was mainly by phone we talked on sword swallowing, and there was some downtime before we actually hit the road. So I'm painting the banners. I'm painting up parts of the show because he had a 40 by 60 circus tent. It's blue on blue, beautiful setup. Lots of things to paint, lots of things to wash. Wash the tent, roll it up, get it ready for the road, check all the vehicles, all that jazz. So there was a lot of downtime, and I was bored. And I was like, you know what? Now is my time.
Pause.
Oh, it looks.
That was a quick repair.
I don't know.
There we go.
There we go.
Let's see.
That was our first one in a couple episodes.
Because you pissed him off.
So I just made up my mind. I was like, now is my time to learn how to swallow swords. I'm in the right place, and I have the time to dedicate myself, because you have to be really dedicated. You can't just be like, oh, I want to swallow swords. And
Did you start with size, or
no.
you went straight to swords?
No.
It's like, well,
Did you start with penises?
Who doesn't?
I love these
I
questions.
knew that. That's so funny. I'm driving here and I'm thinking, how many dick jokes am I going to get here? I know it's
Are you
coming.
surprised it took that long?
No, yeah.
Which is funny because
I have a
haven't thought of
timer.
this-
I'm like, y'all are late on the dick jokes.
I haven't thought about any dick jokes since we started talking. So that's the first one that I thought of. Mostly I don't know. Like whenever I think about you or anybody swallowing swords, I just the horror that could happen goes through my mind.
Yeah.
So my mind isn't automatically like, oh yeah, down into those goods. Like it's more like, oh my god.
You probably get hit on a lot because of it, though, right?
Yes and no.
Yes, I know.
Depend on the dude.
I guess it's kind of a mixed bag.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like they're scared of me afterwards.
Yeah.
That's fine too. But it's funny. I thought it was more funny after shows. Drew would get a lot of attention. He did, or he still does, an amazing human pincushion act. So he has like spikes about this big that he sharpens himself, and he'll go through the muscle. There's another performer that will also penetrate through the muscle. He goes really
shit.
deep.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of people do human pincushion to that level.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys after the show would come up to me like, "Oh, bro!" Like they would instantly be like, there would be like a bromance instantaneously with him and
Like
like
when
a
you penetrate
majority of
yourself.
the dudes, and the chicks would be like, "Oh my god!" And then they'd be like, "Oh, you, Hellen Fury." You know, I'm just like,
Aw.
"You're weird." I'm like, yeah.
That's how it is with this podcast. They like them, and I'm like, oh, she's weird. Look,
Guys.
somebody came into the store and asked about the chocolates. They're like, yeah, the girl that does the show with you.
They were pointing. Jordan was standing right there. The poster was right there.
Yes, and I was-
the girl was like, "That girl on the poster, she makes them." And I was like, "That girl standing right there." makes
Yeah,
Who?
yeah,
Where?
yeah. Jordan's weird. Jordan, who?
We got time for another ad real quick.
Yeah. This episode is also brought to you by Mod Ministry. Mod Ministry merch creates for the edgy woman, the kind of woman who works hard but plays much harder, who embraces femininity but tests the societal limits. We are not for the faint of heart. We are bold. We are beautiful. Check out Mod Ministry Etsy page for handmade lingerie. 5-star rated since 2014.
You gonna do that 2-star rating thing again?
I almost did 3. My bad.
5 stars, baby.
5.
It's almost Valentine's Day. So
Almost.
if you want to
Yes.
order some lingerie for yourself and you want 20% off, use coupon code
Do
Necro Electric on my Etsy.
Necro Electric. So have you seen sideshow tricks go wrong? Like how often do you see that? Wait,
Oh, yeah.
all the time. All the time.
I would say all the time, but I've definitely seen it. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in my mind, I'm like, they're professionals, and so they do it all the time. But I don't know. In my mind, I was like, I really hope that it's not a whole lot. Obviously, they do it they practice all the time. But I guess accidents.
But isn't that
happen.
why you come to a show?
To see, I don't know if I could deal with seeing somebody get hurt. Like I can barely deal with myself getting hurt, but if I saw someone else like have an accident, I'd just be like, no, I don't want to see that. But
I know at the vampire ball, at the end, you were like, you busted out the big sword. I was like, oh shit.
We're all going to witness her death.
She's
That's
had a
why I
couple
did it.
drinks. Is she good? She's good.
Felt good.
I felt good.
Oh, you pulled it off flawlessly.
Yeah. Your thing at the vampire
I mean,
ball
I'm still
was
here. I'm not a
amazing.
ghost yet, so.
Yeah, everyone I think was like speechless after that. It was amazing.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Nice.
that was a good night.
Cool.
That was a good night.
It's getting towards the midnight hour.
Yes.
Where can people find information about you and so they can hire you for all their events?
Cool. I'm on Facebook. The name is Hellen, Hellen, last name Fury. And then I'm also on Instagram, y'all. And it's Lady Hellen Fury. And it's spelled HELL''N. That's how it's really spelled. But Facebook, does their thing. They're like, you're not a real human unless you spell it the way we think you should. I'm like, fine, it's Helen.
What kind of services you offer?
well, on Valentine's Day, I'll be giving a workshop, if you know what I mean. No, just kidding. I just had to throw that in there. I've been thinking that's funny for the longest time, and I'm like, maybe I should do a seminar for Valentine's Day. It would be hilarious. So, you guys had to ask porn questions, so I'm like, well, you know what? Yeah, this is a good place to just entertain this idea a little further. Like, that's right, I'll be doing a workshop for anybody that's interested.
Hit her up.
I'll get you there. Please your partner.
Get a bunch of Karens. But you have to have like
That would be funny.
That would be.
I'd have to record it.
reflex, right?
I'd have to
Like, I mean, you have to not have a gag reflex, right, to be able to do that?
Yeah. Well, you still have it, but you have
You gotta
control.
learn
A
to suppress
minimal.
it.
As Prince would say, you have control.
So I would imagine that you just have Karens puking like
That'd be good.
zucchinis going down.
I could
the
lie to
tube
them.
and
I could
coming
just-
back.
No, Karen, it's okay. Go ahead and eat before you come.
Yes, get wine drunk. It's fine.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Totally cool. Bring your rosé. It's fine. It's totally fine. Okay, Carol. Yes.
That's
Can
great.
do this.
You got some shout outs?
Yeah, shout out to my new chocolates that I have in the store. They're Snow White themed, so I have salted caramel poison apples, which I'm very proud of because it's like handmade, or I say handmade, it is homemade caramel, not stuff out of the jar. So I feel pretty proud about that.
Handmade?
Huh?
Is it not handmade?
It is handmade. Homemade, handmade,
It's not
whatever.
handmade,
Whatever. Jeez. Every single
it's
time.
handmade. What did you just do?
Nothing.
Just imaginary jacked off on me?
And then shout out to you guys and the store and all of our friends and new vendors and new things that are going to be happening with the store. So it's going to be a good year.
Yay.
Boom. I want to give a shout out to everybody that's going to be part of my new show that I got. It's called the Paintbrush Social Club. It's going to be an art contest show featuring all the dopest artists in Central Texas. So keep an eye out for that. You might see a couple broads, maybe all three broads as judges. And yeah, that's it.
I want to give a shout out to all our performers who come to Skellington Market.
Yay.
They're all amazing. And if you haven't seen them yet, you need to come to Skellington Market. The next one is January 24th from 12 to 4. And you'll see these amazing people perform.
Mhm.
And trust me, it will be burned into your brain.
Yeah.
But it's amazing.
And while we got you here, because we're always trying to expand and redo things. So, because we want, basically at some point, we want to make our Skellington Market as close to a festival as we can make it. And obviously this year has been like the worst.
I think we're doing
year.
pretty good for it being a pandemic.
The worst year to try to like get that together.
Yeah.
But it's been clicking. But do you have any suggestions or things that you think for the sideshow's part that could be bettered?
It's a good question. I mean, I don't know. Cotton candy.
Cotton candy.
We are working on food vendors.
Yeah,
That
we
is always a struggle for us.
We got Tequiza this month.
Who?
Tequiza Waco.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Delicious tacos.
Yeah, I mean, we always just hope for good weather, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's outdoors, and
Yeah.
when it's good weather, we can do more cool stuff, like more fire and more fun things like that.
Definitely.
But
In your first one, we put you kind of like in a little tent, and then we've been doing the
Yeah.
things under the awning.
we like
Do you,
that.
do you like the tent? Or do you
The
like
tent was
awning?
fine. The awning is good though too. I think that one's working really nicely because you get the full breeze effect.
Yeah, that tent
And
was hot.
yeah, the tent was a little hot, but it was still fun. I love coming out here, and I know everyone that's performed loves coming out here and supporting this amazing adventure you guys are setting up here in Waco, Texas.
Well, we're so glad you're all a part of it.
Heck yeah!
Do you have any shout outs?
Hey, everybody!
Is that it?
That's it.
That is
Everybody. She's shouting out
everybody. I'm shouting at everybody. There's so many people I could be shouting out to. So I'm just like, let's
All of
just
you.
blanket it and everybody.
Sweet. We'll come out to the Skellington Market and see Hellen in person. And we will see you guys next time.
Bye.
He's alive!